Hello everyone, it's Danny Mills from Boxing Science and welcome to this video tutorial on how to use your Excel database to monitor training performance. We use this Excel template at Boxing Science to evaluate and analyse training loads that are performed in strength and in your running conditioning sessions. The reason why we use it and rate it very highly because it gives us instant feedback on the amount of training loads that athletes are going through session by session. The instant feedback allows us to progressively overload our athletes to make sure that we're challenging physiological adaptations. We also make sure that the increase in training load isn't excessive because this can cause overtraining, overreaching, illness, and maybe sometimes injuries as well. And getting the feedback instantly allows us to start manipulating the different volumes, intensities, different rep ranges as well, to make sure that athletes aren't getting pushed too much. Also, it's effective in deloading to make sure that we're getting that sufficient deload in training load to make sure that we're letting our athletes recover so then they can keep pushing forward. So this is the first time that we're sharing it with anybody else outside the Boxing Science team. The first time we're using it on the TLAC Champion program. So we'd really appreciate if you could offer us any feedback on how you're using it and maybe different improvements we can make to make it more user-friendly. And then if you're using it and you're impressed with the item, and if you're using it and you're impressed with the template, if you could share it on social media, share that you're using it, not sharing the Excel template. Share that you're using our TLAC Champion program because we want to spread the good word of Boxing Science, but the only people that can see the intricacies and the fine detail that we go into at Boxing Science are people that are buying into the program and buying into the TLAC Champion program. So for us to spread the word of the good work that we're doing, it's all dependent on you. So if you enjoy using the template and you're impressed with it, please share its benefits across your social media site, and that'd be a great help to myself and the Boxing Science team. Okay, so this is your conditioning log. So this is the Excel database, and we're going to start off by explaining how to use a conditioning log. Now, this is a locked template, so the only things that you can change is the speed, RPE, and we've given you the option to change the reps as well. The reason why we've given you the option to change the reps is because sometimes you might need to manipulate the volume to make sure that the training load doesn't increase too much or there's a sufficient deload put in place. But mainly, the program for TLAC Champion level 1 is already integrated into this template, so there's nothing much that you need to change in this. You can also change the date accordingly to your training program. But the main things that you need to look at is the speed and RPE, and this is what I'm going to demonstrate now. So you can see here that we've already started filling in weeks 1 and week 2. I'll start filling in week 3. So I put my speed and my RPE. And you see this little number here. This is the intensity factor. Now, the intensity factor is something that we put in place at Boxing Science as an exponential curve. It's like a weighting factor based off the speed that you run at. So the reason why I put it in there is because when we do the maximal sprints, the training load, obviously the volume is a lot lower. And so the training loads, even though it was a really tough session, the actual training load wasn't as high. And it just didn't represent the difficulty and the actual kind of training stress that we're putting our athletes under. So we had to find this weighting factor to make sure that as the speeds go up, this has an impact on our training a little bit more. So for an example, what it does is creates the difference between, let's say, 19 kilometers per hour and 20 kilometers per hour being a lot larger than the difference between 1 kilometers per hour and 2 kilometers per hour. So, and this feels, because it feels a lot different to be doing that. So imagine if you're walking on a treadmill, it goes from 1 to 2 kilometers per hour, you won't really feel a difference. But if you're on a treadmill and you went from 19 to 20 kilometers per hour, you're more than likely to be able to feel a bigger difference. So that's why we put the intensity factor in place. But that's something that you don't need to worry about when you put in your speeds in, because it automatically does it for you. These are just made up numbers to make sure, just for demonstration purposes. So as you can see, as I've gone across, this training load differs for sessions. So you've got session 1, session 2, session 3, and then you've got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 coming down. And you can see from session 1, 2, and 3 that the training loads differ depending on the speed, the RPE, and how many reps and sets that we do. This is created as a sum at the end of the training loads from every session that week. And then you've got a difference, okay? So the difference between week 3 and week 2 is 12%. There's a difference between week 2 and week 1 with 17.4%. Now, what we're trying to aim for here is not exceeding a spike in training load of 20% or more. Reason why is that this is found to be the threshold of like overreaching or overtraining, you know, a little bit too much for spiking training load. So we want to like progressively overload our athlete, but nothing more than 20%. We're trying to avoid that, especially with conditioning. In terms of strength work, you might see bigger increases, especially when you're first starting off, but that doesn't really matter because you're just learning the movements. As soon as you learn the movements, you start loading up and you'll start to get bigger increases as you start. But once you get to the top end, doing maximal strength work, that's when you've got to really look at the increases in training load. So with this, you're looking for anywhere between 10 and 15% for a controlled increase. If it's more than 10 to 15%, and let's say it's 15 to 20, we want to like make sure like towards the end of the training week, we're putting some recovery methods in place. Maybe alter your nutrition, have a few more carbs, make sure you're getting recovery drinks in place, go for a massage, make sure you do mobility training as well, just to enhance the recovery process leading on to the next week. What you want to do, you want to make sure that you don't exceed 20%. If you do, you know, you can start predicting how many by just changing the reps at a certain mean speed. What I normally do is that, let's say, last session of the week, let's say I'm scheduled for 6 reps, I'll put in 5 reps. So let's say if I'm hitting a higher mean speed, let's say I'm hitting 21 on this. My mean speed's 21 after 5 reps. I can see that it's only 11% increase, but if I do 6th rep, it's gone up to 20%. So you can like see, like you can see there the instant feedback, how that's helping us. So let's say if I've got an athlete, I've got 3 minutes of recovery between each rep, I can just see, have a look at the mean speed, what is it currently, and keep increasing the rep by rep. So let's say if they're on 4 reps, you can see, oh, it's only a 2% increase. Okay, let's see what they are after 5. 11%, that's good. Okay, let's see what they're like after 6. Yeah, that's a little bit excessive. So that's the reason why we use this template, because it gives us instant feedback. It's really beneficial for athletes. And down here, you see some graphs. You can see straight away, we're getting some visual representation on our loads session by session, and then on a week by week basis. To show you a better example of that, we've got a filled-in program. You can see that we've got a positive 3-2-1 load and deload strategy going off here. And this is all filled in, different speeds, different RPEs when we're working on different physiological adaptations. So moving on to the strength conditioning log. The only things that you can change on here are the weights. Okay, so still got your reps and sets. They're all automatically built in for you, and the different exercises that you're going to use on the TLAC Champion program. So if I could put an example in here of the Romanian deadlift, quickly shows you the differences in training load session by session, and then obviously if we start putting in some data here, shows you difference between the weeks. You've got total load for the exercise there at the end, and then you've got total session load and total week load here, and then you can see the difference. This is an example of what we made earlier. Putting all the data, obviously, as you're learning the exercises, you might be able to do more weight. So the increases in training load for your strength training might be a lot more than your conditioning training. Won't really worry about the difference in training load for your strength work right at this moment. You can see that we're getting that 3-to-1 loading pattern in there. And then you've got the same for strength phase 2, and then strength phase 3. Obviously, we've got stuff that's blocked out because we're only doing this for a shorter amount of time. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video tutorial on how to use your Excel database. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been beneficial to you and you've got a better understanding how to use your Excel database. Hopefully you find it useful in your training and in your coaching as well. If you, like I said at the start, if you've got any feedback or any questions about how to use the database, just pop us an email at boxing.site@gmail.com, or you can contact us through the Boxing Science Facebook training group or through our social media channels. We appreciate any feedback or any way that you can share the benefits of the Boxing Science program on your social media. Okay, good stuff. Enjoy database, and more importantly, enjoy the program and work hard.